Hello, guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Skills and Abilities. Today we're going to be going over the Demon Tree. We've already finished the Eldritch Tree, we've already finished the Chaos Tree, and now we are working on the Demon Tree. I have already done a video on the Consume skill. This was actually a really long video, by the way, and it was something that I had to research in advance. And if you want to see the Consume video, I highly recommend you go check that out. Today we're going to be starting off with something simple. We're going to start off with Demonic Mastery. Might not be the longest video in the world, but it's going to be fun nonetheless, because we're going to talk about how Demonic Mastery is definitely very useful for your character, and, well, why you should probably pick it. So, Demonic Mastery seems to be almost specifically relegated to offensive stats. If you notice, it has attack rating, which is also very good. It has attack speed. It has damage percentage, which is going to be off weapon enhancement most likely. And it also has run walk speed, which is really good for getting your minions within range of the monsters that you want to fight. Now, if you beef it up to its maximum, it does get a pretty large amount of bonus to all of the above. And you can, of course, add in more plus to skills, which I have this armor just so I can show off like a really high level. And it's 850 attack rating, 38% increased attack speed, 340% damage, and run walk speed of 36%. It's basically going to make any of your minions attack much stronger. However, keep in mind that this is attack speed, not cast speed. It is attack rating, not something to do with spells, and it is damage, not like spell bonus. So your goat man that is mainly a like melee character is going to get really good benefit from demonic mastery. However, things like the tainted, which shoot fireballs, are going to be more on the caster side of things and are going to get less benefit from this in general because they're not using physical damage attacks. They're using spells, essentially, right? So this one might not be as useful if you're doing a tainted build as it would be for the latter. And in fact, let's just go ahead and beef this guy up to maximum. So he has, what, 2,113, 2,213. Let's go ahead and respec. And then make sure we have our, of course, our plus the skills and everything. So 1,506. So looking at this, it is actually increasing the tooltip, which doesn't necessarily mean anything. But we do have the tooltip going up, so maybe that damage percentage bonus is actually affecting the spell damage on the Tainted. Interesting. One thing, however, that you will notice that Demonic Mastery does not do is it does not give any defensive stats. So there's no life on here. There's no defense. There's no resistances. There's no, like physical damage reduction or anything of that nature. Demonic Mastery is specifically a passive that is affecting your minions in an offensive capacity. In other words, if you hope to use one of these guys as a defensive tool, not an offensive tool, Demonic Mastery isn't really necessary because defensively, it does essentially nothing for your goatman. Now, some people would say that a good defense is a good offense, and they wouldn't necessarily be wrong. If everything is dying quicker, that could potentially help your minion live longer because, well, the thing is not alive to beat the crap out of him, right? So in a small way, Demonic Mastery is offering some defensive capability by killing things quicker, which is one thing to take into account. I mean, one really interesting thing that I'm noticing right off the bat is that it has flat attack rating. Flat attack rating is a really interesting choice on their part. So a lot of things in the game have plus percentage, like Fanaticism has plus percentage attack rating. Blessed Aim has plus percentage attack rating. You can also get Enchant, which gives plus percentage attack rating, and so forth and so on. And in general, plus percentage attack rating doesn't really go really well with other plus percentage attack rating because they don't really stack like in a very like beneficial way. However, flat works really well in conjunction with percentage-based attack rating. So if you do happen to have later on something like Fanaticism, Blessed Aim, Enchant, that 900 is going to get multiplied by the percentage. It also gives a really nice amount of attack speed. I mean, just overall seems like it would really make your minions much, much stronger. In fact, this is probably one of those abilities that when you're doing a summon character, you probably want to get plus the skills for him because it's going to overall increase the effectiveness of essentially any minion that's underneath of it for like offensive capability. Now, another thing that you'll notice, if I respec it real quick, is that when it starts out at a relatively low level, it only has a maximum number of demons of 1. Now, as you increase the level of this ability, at level 10, you get access to a second demon. At level 20, you get access to a third demon. And then once you get to some of the higher levels, it doesn't really seem to get access to any more demons other than that. And let me just grab more plus the skills here. So we currently have level 36. Technically, it would possibly get a fourth demon at level 40. I'm not sure if I have enough plus the skill equipment sitting around to hit level 40, to be perfectly honest. I do not. But theoretically, if it does go up to 4, it would require level 40 demonic mastery to hit that number. So while it doesn't offer any defensive stats, it does offer more demons, more damage for those demons, more attack rating for those demons, more attack speed for those demons, and even faster run walk speed for those demons. And in general, it's just going to make your demons far better at dishing out damage than they were before. Now, as far as the number of demons goes, that might be a reason why you might want to build in demonic mastery, even if you don't necessarily want to use them as minions. I mean, like actual offensive minions, just simply so you can have more than one. Which there actually are some pretty good reasons why you could want to have more than one. Like, for instance, the Bind Demon, which is really cool. You could, of course, use the Goat Man, and the Defiler also has the ability to share damage between bound targets, which is kind of cool. There's definitely a lot of interesting ways that you could potentially use these, and also the Consume ability technically counts as one bind. So if you have, like, for instance, one demonic mastery and you use Consume, that uses up your available slot for a minion, because the Consume buff counts as one of your minions. So if you do want to have a Consume buff and another minion, then you need to have at least 2 on your demonic mastery to be able to get that access to that. It's definitely kind of a crazy skill, very reminiscent of skeleton mastery on the necromancer. One of those ones that's definitely going to help you get the offensive capability you need to make your minions do some damage. However, if you're looking for defensive capability, we are going to look to Blood Oath, which is going to be the next video in the list. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, there's really not a lot to show off with these passives. They're just absolutely amazing passives. And I guess I could go out and show you guys some like demons killing stuff, but what's the point of that? Honestly, we'll get to that when we get to the Goatman video and some of the other minion videos, and we'll go over like that sort of thing when we're actually covering the actual minions. As always, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe button, and keep watching.